Hi Rhiannon, hi Robin, hi to the rest of Spooning Meeples crew. So, luck in games. Luck is a terrible word. It has a dictionary definition, but everyone has their own perception of what that means and what luck means to them. As pointed out before, people have their own rituals, their own superstitions, and some people may not have any of those. I know I don't. I roll a die and it comes up however it does. It's not something I can affect after I've rolled it. However, our perception of how luck is generated can affect our enjoyment of games. Take, for example, Space Hulk Death Angel. This game, which I've played solo a fair bit, this game has randomness at its core on how events play out. You can roll this horrible, painful die that will more often than not kill you off. But you have to roll it. It's integral to the game. And that can feel very bitter, as you've done all you can to mitigate the odds, but that one die roll has ruined it all. There are other games where that kind of simulation of events is far less nasty, even though it can be just as mean. For example, Greenland by Phil Eklund. This little tiny card game in, frankly, a bit of a poorly designed graphical system. This card game is very good. It simulates survival. It simulates that kind of desperation for goods, and you're trying to stay alive and you're trying to keep your tribe alive, and very often you won't keep most of your tribe alive, but that's fine because that's part of the game and that's the enjoyment. Plays 1 to 3 players. It really is an excellent game, and it differs in my heart between the Death Angel randomness and this randomness, because this one you feel a bit more control. You can roll more dice if you choose to, if you send more people to go hunt in a certain area, in much the same way as Stone Age, but this feels very much more like a grown-up Stone Age. There are other games where you have luck mitigation, or even player choice that's driven by luck, because the luck is there to provide the variability in the game. So one example I'd like to mention is Macau. Macau's an excellent game. There is a portion of the game which is about resource management and generation, and you do that by rolling 6 dice, and everyone round the table chooses 2 of the dice to take, so to speak. And all you do is you look at the top value of whatever it is you're taking, say the red die, and say it's come up 2. That means you will get 2 red resources in 2 rounds' time. Doesn't mean you get them now, but it means you're planning for the future. And so you might take high values to plan for the future so that in 6 turns' time, you'll get 6 resources. So you see there's a trade-off between long-term gain and short-term gain. The shorter the term, the fewer resources you get. And even though the game is driven by randomness in this way, because you have that choice of 2 of 6 dice, it really does feel much more about your choice than the randomness of the dice. And everyone's picking from the same pool of dice, and people can pick the same dice more than once. So that adds to that kind of playing the player, not playing the game. I think it's one of the enjoyable parts of it. I'd like to mention 2 more games that do have a heavy part of randomness to them, but I do enjoy them and they fit very nicely on train journeys. One is Scopa. It's a very old card game. Italian, uses an old deck of 40 cards. And I really enjoy it. It's a great game to play with 2, 3 or 4 people. I play it mostly as 2. And it has all the hallmarks of actually a modern game where you have a limited hand size of 3 cards per turn. And you have to play all those cards. The order in which you play them is entirely up to you. And you're trying to take cards from the middle by pairing up values. So if you put down a 6, you could take a 6 from the centre as well as the card you put down and put them to one side. You can also do addition. So if you put down that same 6 and there were 2 3s there instead, you could take both those 3s and the 6 to one side. So there is a certain amount of luck involved in terms of putting the right card down at the right time and making sure that other people can't benefit from your mistakes. But you can't tell that because they have random cards. There's also only 40 cards, so if you're really careful, you can work out exactly what things people might have and play from that. Still, a very enjoyable game. Another game that I played quite a lot on the train is Quicks with my girlfriend. It's a super light game. Even though there's little agency in it, you're just picking which dies to do and which marks to make. We do trash talk a bit. It's like, oh, got this perfect roll. This is wonderful. Oh, it's a terrible shame you got that. But, well, more swearing. But that's a fun little game, and it fits in 15 minutes, and our train journey's 20-ish normally. And so it fits in very nicely. The games we seem to enjoy are the ones where we have agency over what we're doing, where our choices decide and the randomness is there for the variability of the game. But even so, there are still games like Greenland where I enjoy it for what it is. Yes, it's, for me, variability and your player choice.